Konami Studios.
Geiger, issue number 1. That's right, folks. Is this the first time in history of comics that Geoff Johns has stepped away from the realm of DC and has ventured into his own original independent book? It's Mad Ghost. That's his production house. It's Image Comics. That's, Image Comics. I can't remember the last time Geoff Johns did this. If he did something recently, please let me know. But it's good. It's straight up Geoff Johns just like having fun in a world he knows well, which is his own creative wheelhouse. It's very fun. Very cool. I was very impressed with it. Gary Frank is returning, another famous collaborator with Geoff Johns, and they created something very cool. It's not original. It's not brand new. It's stuff we have seen before. It's Mad Max. It's very, any apocalyptic movie, dystopian, whatever. But it's got that classic Johns and Frank style, and it's very cool. So let's get into it. We open up, we see these guys in some hazmat suits. They're like reading some like data about probably like the radiation nearby, and everything's kind of going a little bit bad. And they're saying, like this area has been known to show like the glowing man, like this guy that walks, they call him like Joe Glow, the man of mass destruction, the walking bomb. He's like this like weird illusion, like this mythical character almost that just like wanders these parts of like the crops or whatever they're in. It's like a desert wasteland. They don't really explain where it is, but you're like, it's either someplace where a bomb was dropped or it's a desert. We don't really know. That's not the point. But basically, one of the men's like, well, if you know the story of this glowing man, I just love to hear it. So the other guy's like, yeah, well, his name was Tariq Geiger, and he was a good guy, and everything he did was for his family. So we cut to the past. We are seeing like an empty house where everyone's kind of freaking out, except for like one guy who's like watching the like this newscast about like the world's going into this thing called the unknown war. Like the bombs are about to drop. Everything's getting really bad. Like everything, people are being shot. The White House is doing a bunch of strange stuff. There's so much this crap going on. This weird monolith that showed up in the middle of the earth is vibrating. And you see like a little poster, or I should say a calendar, not a poster. It's July 2030. And you can see, if you're looking at the calendar close enough, you can see that there is the X on July 3rd, which means that today or tomorrow is either the 4th of July. So that's an interesting little tidbit I like to see. We see this man, he's just shouting at his wife, it's time to go. So they like run out of their house. We see that they are in Boulder City, Nevada, and they're running out. They're going to like this bomb shelter. The man we are meeting is Tariq Geiger. So he's getting his kids inside the bunker with his wife, and they're seeing like the dog screaming at something. In classic fashion, the dog sees something, but the dog is looking at a missile that's going up in the air. So Tariq goes to grab the dog, but gets shot by the neighbor right in the foot. He's like, sorry, neighbor, but we are taking your shelter. Not like we can all share because, neighborly order, people are alive. So, Tariq's on the ground. He's shouting at his wife, just shut the door. And she's like, I can't do it. Like, you're still out there. Like, shut the door. Please do it. So she closes it without Tariq inside, and he says his I love yous, and they say goodbye. The door's shut, nobody can get in, and the neighbor shoots the dog, and as Tariq's holding the dog before he dies, suddenly the bomb drops behind them. We get a beautiful page. Again, it's Gary Frank. You know how gorgeous this is going to look, but you just see like the reflection of the bomb dropping from the sunglasses that Tariq is wearing. It looks so cool. It explodes. We see like Tariq's like body starts to like melt and something very. I wonder. Now I went into this with like this idea. Could this have been a book Johns pitched for DC at some point, and they just swapped the characters out? Could Tariq have been an Atomic Skull stand-in? Could he have been like a Batman stand-in or a Superman stand-in? Or maybe seeing this one panel, like where we see like the molecules like being destroyed on a different level when it comes to Tariq. I'm wondering if this could have been like an alternate version of Dr. Manhattan, where perhaps the bombs fell and things were bad because humanity didn't unite. I wonder if that could have been something we saw, and like, interesting to play with, but I like it. So we cut to 20 years later. Those same men we saw at the beginning are now wandering through the desert of Nevada. They're looking for all this stuff, and suddenly they notice like this pile of like cars blocking the entrance to like this weird area. We're not really sure what the area is. It looks like it's the bunker from the previous scene. So they're trying to break in, but there's a man standing on top of the other stuff. And again, it's your classic, like, Lone Ranger, the hooded figure standing up looking like the avatar of justice, pretty much. It's very cool. He's like, you're trespassing, get off my land, or I'm going to have to do something good. And this is where I'm like, some of these fight scenes, I'm like, this is where I could definitely see the Batman influence because of like the long black cape, the character jumping down, doing some kicks and stuff. And we know it's Tariq. We're all pretty much aware it's Tariq, but it's pretty cool. So we see like, you should give up now, or I'm going to put up a sign that people shouldn't trespass. And you see his eyes start to glow, and he's like, it's going to be in neon, no trespassing. We get a beautiful reveal of the glowing man. Like, oh my goodness, that looks so good. It's definitely amazing. Like, it's just so unique. I love the black hood with the skull, with the neon. It looks fantastic. I love, like, the hazardous logo on the chest. It is so cool. He scares them away. He goes back to his base. He's got a two-headed wolf or a two-headed dog with him. They go inside, eat some beans, and they're looking at a bunch of stories. He's like, yeah, we read these all. There's no new writers in the world, so no new stories are being told. And he's just kind of depressed, like he's been there a very long time, protecting his family, because we do see that behind like the wall that he has built out of like broken cars is the bunker where his family went inside, and he's like, I could open this door only when they are safe. You're like, that's pretty cool. I like that. That's a very Jeff Johns thing to do, like the tragic hero struggling to do something for family in a very noble way. And if you want to get more down the route of nobility, this book takes a really surprising turn, and we see that there's this place in the world where there's a king, a ruler of like the lands. He's like this arrogant little kid, like your Joffrey mother effer, who's just kind of like, that picture of me should be cooler. I'm stronger looking than that, and that dragon should be bigger of me slaying it. And like he's talking to this knight, and he's one of the nuclear knights, and they call him Warhead. And basically this kid's like, we're gonna kill that glowing man, you hear me, Warhead? We're gonna take him down and everything's gonna be great. And I know what you're thinking. Why is there a medieval theme happening in this book? How is that even possible? How could this book get any weirder? Going to this like medieval world, there's nuclear knights, there's like a young king who takes over. This kid is probably like born into this world because he's very young. And we go outside, and we see this beautiful utopia with like beautiful lights and neon colors, because neon plays a big role in this. And we see in all of that the kid is in Las Vegas, and it's probably an indication that he is in Excalibur. So that is so cool. Look, I know I don't talk about it a lot on this channel, but something about me that I absolutely adore is the entire aesthetic, the entire feel, the world, everything, the atmosphere, everything about Las Vegas. I am just a massive fan of that world. I've studied the history. I've been there plenty of times. I've been to countless museums. I've studied a lot of Las Vegas stuff. So the fact that this just came up in the book, I'm like, we're doing dystopian apocalyptic stuff. A guy that can glow, turn into a skull, protecting his family. That shit is so cool. But then all of a sudden, we're like, yeah, Las Vegas somehow is still functioning and very important. And we see like a makeshift version of the Strip, and you can see like different places for like the fill-ins for like the actual like city of Vegas, you know. The kid we saw is in Camelot. Obviously, that's Excalibur. We see the Manhattan, which is obviously New York. You guys, like, it's awesome. You know, Nero's, Caesar's Palace. It's so interesting. Like, the shooting stars, the stratosphere. You know, it's just so fun. Goldbeer, Treasure Island. You get, like, if you know anything about, like, Las Vegas, just seeing, like, that map of just, like, Johns and Frank just, like, making all this different worlds, these different characters that have, like, taken over Vegas in, like, this way. It's so cool. It is so fun. I just adore it immensely. So I am super interested in what this book's going to do. It's fantastic. It's classic Johns and Frank fashion. It looks cool. The characters are interesting. It sets up a great world, a great dystopian world. It's going to be very fun to see what's going to happen going forward. It's very cool. I really just enjoyed what this had to say, what it was about, and what it was trying to do. It's going to surprise you in a lot of ways, I think. It's a very enjoyable piece. Definitely not what I was expecting. And that's a good thing. I really enjoyed it. It's fantastic. So, Geiger, issue number 1, I am going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff. And I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.